this is a thread, but this one is 3D printed and works just perfectly. And you might be asking, why would I even want to learn how to make a thread in the first place? Well, let me show you. I can find threads in my kitchen. There are threads in our shower. I have a thread even in my glue. Threads are just everywhere in our daily lives without us even knowing about it. So why not learn how to make your completely custom in Fusion 360 in just a few minutes. Let's go. I will be showing you step by step how to design this container so that anybody can have their own threaded container that has a lid that is able to be screwed on there and then even 3D printed. So I'm going to be going even into the slicer. So since the new Fusion update, you will always see this window before you start a design. Right now we are going to be working in the hybrid design. If you are new, you don't really need to care about why we are doing that. Just pick that, and once you are in the Fusion working environment over here, you can just save your file so that you can always go back to it, and if you need to edit anything, you can always find it. So save it by going into File and then selecting Save right over here. Or as you can see, it is recommending to press Ctrl S as a shortcut, which is a lot faster. So I will just press Ctrl S and I can save it anywhere I want. So for example, a threaded container, and now I will always be able to find it, and it's saved in my computer. And once you actually save it, the Fusion Cloud feature will actually save it every few minutes so that your design doesn't get lost, which is the amazing part about Fusion. Now to start, we will be creating a sketch. To create a sketch, you will go in the Create menu, and here you have Create Sketch. Once you click on it, it will allow you to select one of the planes that are in here that you will be placing the sketch on. You will be selecting this bottom plane. You will see why just in a second. Now we need to first create basically the outer diameter of this container in the first place. So it will be this big circle, the biggest one. So to create it, you will go to the Create section in the sketch environment and find Circle and select the center diameter circle. As you can see, it already is suggesting the C as a shortcut for this circle. So to do it a lot faster, it's always good to just click C on your keyboard, and as you can see, we have the whole circle tool in our mouse, and we can use it, which is a lot faster. And again, I would highly recommend learning all of the shortcuts one by one. I use them all the time. And now you can just press the origin of the circle, or the center, which will be the origin, and then drag it out. Once you drag it out, as you can see, it is already creating the circle, and I just type in the diameter that you want for the outer ring of your container that you want to have. So for example, I will go for 50 millimeters. Once you have that, you can see that you have the basic sketch created. Now we need even the inner wall, right? So this will be basically the space that we are able to use in the container, which is this empty space. And then we will need even a third circle, which will basically determine the wall that the thread is then on. If you just create another circle, just like this, right now don't put there any size. And then the third one, just like this, as you can see, Fusion made them blue. And what that means is that Fusion doesn't know what size they should be. But the black one means that Fusion knows everything about it and it cannot be moved. It's already set in the sketch. So now, to actually set the sizes of these circles, instead of using the size of the whole diameter, we will just give it distance from the outer ring. Let me show you exactly how to do that. You will go in the Create section, and there you will find on the complete bottom sketch dimension. As you can see, it's again D, shortcut for dimensioning. So it's a lot faster to just press D. What we will be sketching is the distance between this first circle and the second one. So select both of these circles and drag the value out. Now this will determine the thickness of the wall that we are creating. So I will input 2.5 millimeters. And then we're going to repeat the exact same for the, let's say, the usable space that we will be having. So again, input 2.5, and as you can see, all of them became black. That means Fusion knows exactly where all of these lines are and they cannot be moved. And now click on Finish Sketch in the top right. Once you have that, first we will be extruding the bottom part of the container, which is this part right over here. So now you can decide your own value, but I will be using 40 millimeters in height. So to create it, you will go in the Create section, click on Extrude, or as you can again see, the shortcut for it is E. So you can just hit E, and once you hit it, you have the Extrude tool actually in your hand, and even the Extrude menu will appear. Then you will select both of these profiles in the sketch, and then drag the arrow and make it drag down, there will appear a value which you can input anything you want. So for example, 40 millimeters. And as you can see, it is currently in minus. Why is it in minus? Well, because I put it down from the sketch, not up. So that's why it needs to be in minus. So once you have that and you have decided your own size, you can click on OK and it will create the main body of the container. But now we need to basically, we have it hollow, so we need to create even the bottom wall so that it isn't hollow. So to do it, you will actually need to go in your browser. As you can see over here, you have your browser. Over there, you're gonna reveal all of your sketches by clicking the menu. And then there will be a crossed eye on sketch 1. So you will just reveal it. And as you can see, the sketch is back in here. Now, because we need it on the bottom, to extrude it on the bottom, we cannot start the extrude from the top. So what we will be doing is, again, going into extrude or just clicking E and selecting all of the profiles. But now, as you can see, the start in the extrude menu is set to profile plane. We need it to extrude it from the bottom face right over here, right? So in the start, you will select object and then click this bottom face. And now again, as you can see, because we are going down from the arrow, or from the plane, we need to put it in minus the value. Okay, so now in the value window, you will again input minus and the value that you want for the thickness of the bottom layer. So I will put minus 2 millimeters and then just hit OK. And as you will see right now, we have basically the bottom not hollow, which is amazing. So our container wouldn't be basically just a hollow cylinder. Now, what we need to do is create the supporting wall for the thread to even be on. So to create that, you will just hit on extrude. Again, put this profile sketch in here, extrude it, and now you can decide your own value, but I will be going for 8 millimeters because I find it quite big enough and it actually gives it space to be screwed on. Okay, so once you have that, you have basically the basic of the body of the container created. Now, to be able to create the lid, we will just hide this body for now, hide it, and now we will be using the sketch to create the lid. The lid will be this profile extruded over here. So drag it out, and now you can drag it exactly the value that is set the wall before. Click on OK, and then do the exact same as we did for the bottom so that it wouldn't be hollow. So again, the start won't be the profile plane, but it will be an object. Once you do that, as you can see, it allows you again to drag the arrow and it will make it non-hollow. So once you have that, you can just input, let's say 2 millimeters again so that we stay consistent. Now we have the lid created, and when you reveal the second body, as you can see, this is the basic shape that it will look like when it is completely screwed in. Now we need to add the threads. Now this is really easy because Fusion actually has a feature that allows you to make a thread with a single click. So you will go in the create menu, you will need to hide the lid. So again, go in your browser and over here you can hide the lid so that we can actually see the face where we want to place the thread on. Go in the create menu, select thread. Hopefully you can find it. Select the face you want the thread to be applied to. And now this is really important. Over here, in the thread menu, you will need to tick model because right now it is just, let's say, aesthetical, but it wouldn't be in the model itself. I'm not quite sure why Fusion made it this way, but you just need to tick the modeled window and it will be right there. But as you can see right now, it is making our part hollow, and that's because Fusion automatically selected the biggest size of the thread that it can, which for us is bad because we don't have the walls thick enough to basically take this thread. So you just need to, in the designation window, you will need to lower the second number. So I will, for example, go for M45 by 2, which will already make the thread working, and it will look a lot better and not make our part hollow. Now, one good thing you can do is click the remember size, because then once we are applying the thread even to the lid, it will actually remember all of the settings that we had put here, and it will basically replicate them so that you don't need to input them there again. So once you have all of that, you can click on OK, and that is the thread for the container finished. So you can hide this body of the container and reveal the second one, which is the lid. Once you reveal it, we will just repeat the process, but right now the first sketch that we created is kind of messing around, so you can just hide it and now repeat the process with the thread that we exactly did with the container. So just click on thread, click this face, and as you can see, it already remembers all of the values, so we are all set, and we can click on OK, and that's it. Now the completely last step before we actually export it is to create a bit of clearance for the part to actually be able to be screwed in together. So to do that, you will select in the modify section offset face, and basically we will be just expanding the walls of the lid. So select all of the 4 faces of the lid that you have right over here, as I did just right now. As you can see, all of them are selected, perfect. And now input the value of minus 0.2 millimeters. Now, because it is round, it doesn't make the clearance just minus 0.2, it actually makes it 0.4 because it's from both sides, right? So once you have that, you can click on OK, and you just added clearance for the part to be actually able to be screwed in together. To export it, you will go again into the File, Export, and then basically name it so that you know what it is, and then select the file format. Now this is really important because automatically Fusion selects F3D, which is a Fusion format, but that isn't 3D printable. So you need to go into the STL files or whatever file type you like. I will be selecting STL file and then just click on export. Now we need to go into the slicer. So once you're in your slicer, you will just select this cube right over here, which basically allows you to add any model that you want. So now select the thread that you want, that we just created, the container. And now as you can see, the bodies are together. If you print it this way, it would actually print together and it wouldn't come out nice, right? So we need to split it apart because right now Fusion perceives it as just a single object. So to split it, you will right click the object, and over here you have the split option, and you will select 2 objects. Now you will need to deselect the object and drag these objects out. But as you can see, the lid is right now turned around. To orient it perfectly, you will need to just select this button on the right side of the plate, and Bambu Lab slicer or whatever slicer you are using will automatically turn the lid around so that it actually prints nicely. And as you can see right now, you have both of the object prepared. And now just make sure you aren't printing too high of a or big of a layer height, because that would make the thread not so good to look at and much harder to screw in together. This was how to make a threaded container, and if you have any feedback or would like any other tutorial, comment it down below.